What's up you guys, I'm Alec J. Fisher, and welcome back to another adventure vlog. Alright you guys, it is 75 degrees out. I am sweating because I'm dressed for a warmer day, but you can't blame me because it is the middle of the winter in Texas. You would expect a bit chillier weather. I mean, ooh, what was that? Probably a rabbit or something. But it wasn't too long ago that we had snow right where I'm standing. We've had a lot of rain the past few days. So people are all taking advantage of this nice weather and doing up their yards, which has been a struggle for me because I'm trying to avoid the bad audio. But this is going to be a new style of adventure vlogs. I used to do like the single take adventure vlogs when I was out and about, but now I'm going to be trying to take up a hand in editing and give it a go. This is not going to be so much of a daily vlog type style, but more of a whatever I'm up to, the highlights of the week. Believe it or not, outside of my adventuring, a lot of my life focuses around finding other stuff to adventure around. So I'll show you some of the local adventure spots that I find in the urban Texan residential areas. A lot of it revolves around golf course ponds. I'll show you a bit of like the fishing I get into, the adventuring around. I got a cool little macro lens that I put on my phone, so I'll show you some of those shots as well. Any of my pets, I've got fish, all sorts of stuff. Any little activities that I get into, I'll try and document them so that I can share them with you guys. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this new style of adventure vlogging, and let's get going. Alright you guys, so I just got done with rugby practice and made a quick pit stop to pick up some new pets. So I got them in this bag here, some fish. I'll show you guys exactly what they are and why I bought them once I get inside. So let's go put them in their new home. So I've got my fish tank all lit up here, and I'm gonna throw in the bag to acclimate the fish to the water, and then we will release them and I'll tell you a little bit about them. So we've got the fish acclimating, and I think they're about ready to go in. But here's a little look at my aquarium. I have got only live bears in here. And it looks like the guppy must have just had babies. As you can see, there's some really tiny dudes swimming around like right there. Oh, these guys aren't live bears. These are baby Cory catfish. Came from that aquarium over there, which we'll get to that in a second. The live bears, for a ratio of male to female, you typically want about 1 male for every 2 females. And while I was gone over the summer, some of my males and or females had died, so I need to replace them in order to prevent fights in between my fish. Because if there's 1 male and 1 female, the 1 female will get stressed because the male's always chasing her around, trying to breed and all that. And then if there's 2 females, like in the case of my swordtails, there's only females in here. So I wanted to buy a male so that they can continue breeding. And I decided to pick up a koi swordtail, which that'll be pretty cool. It'll be a different breed of swordtail, but they will be able to breed. And then I got some silver mollies for my male silver molly. I got 2 females. And then I got a Mickey Mouse platy. The only reason for the Mickey Mouse platy is because when I had bought 3 sunset platies originally, which all are still alive, I asked for 2 females, 1 male. The guy gave me 2 males, 1 female. So I had to separate the males, put 1 in there because the 2 males were fighting over the female and 1 got hurt. So I'm gonna put the new female in here, and then hopefully I can return him to his rightful home. But yeah, let's get these guys in here. Alrighty, well it looks like they're doing well. You can see the male's already going after the female there. But the other female will help to disperse the attention given. Look at that, he's doing like a little dance. There he goes. But that's what live bears do. They love to breed You will be able to see some babies swimming around in here. There's some baby guppies. I actually don't have any male guppies right now, but there are some males growing up, so I don't want to go ahead and buy any new males because they'd fight with the juveniles when they start wanting to breed. But now onto this task. So these are my egg layers, either fish that I didn't want in my live bearer tank, because some of them will possibly eat babies, like the neon tetras. Only got 2 of those guys right now. Used to have a lot more. So there's the other platy. I mean, he's still looking a bit rough, even though it's been almost a year, so I think it's just he's weird. But there's some more swordtails, and then some Cory catfish. There's a baby that was bred in this tank, and I've got some salt and pepper Corys, some Schwartzy, and some bronze, as well as a Pleco. But I am going to actually try to get the Corys to lay one more clutch of eggs before I transfer them over to their new tank, and then I have another pet that I would like to put in this tank once I get back from Christmas, but I'll save that for next time. Well, not next time, later on. But yeah, let's get the live bears moved over and let's try and get the catfish to lay some eggs. So I've cut the filter on this tank just so you guys can hear me talk. But the reason this tank looks so weird compared to the other one is because the overhead LEDs have died. I've had this tank since Christmas of 2012, so it's been a while. I've got my Ubuntu sticker in the back. Down there you can see. But yeah, I'm gonna scoop these guys out and pop them in the other tank. So let's do that. You might be wondering why there's yarn in my aquarium. And that is an area where the Cory catfish can lay their eggs. There we go. No, it's so fast. Pulling some Houdini moves. Where are you? Come on, man. Just cut me some slack. You're not gonna get hurt. You're just going to a new home with friends. Pleco, getting in the way. That was a difficult fish to catch. Okay, acclimation time. Alright, so everyone has been acclimated and transferred. This is put a little more activity in the aquarium. Hopefully it doesn't mess with the ammonia too much, because when you move that many living organisms, you're supposed to do it slowly, which I think this tank can handle it, but I'm not gonna move these guys yet for 2 reasons. One, because I don't want to do an ammonia overload. Also because I want to try and get them to lay another clutch of eggs. So let's go ahead and set the conditions for that. So what we're gonna do to set the conditions for the Cory catfish to breed is we're going to do a 50% water change of the water, and we're going to add water that is slightly colder than the tank temperature. So we're gonna suck out the water, and then we're going to replace it with fresh cold water. And on top of that, we're gonna want to start feeding them a little bit more, get them nice and happy, maybe throw in some frozen bloodworms that I got here. And with any luck, they will start spawning. So let's give it a go. So the point of doing that is to mimic the natural behaviors of the fish. Like when they were in the wild, they would breed after rainfall. So that would cool the water a few degrees, like I just did by pouring cold water into the aquarium. And then they knew that there would be an abundance of food, with bugs being washed out of trees and grass into the water. And so they would say, okay, well, now's a good time to produce babies. They're gonna come into a good world where they can eat and be healthy. So that's what I emulated right here. You can see the juveniles are swimming around. I've got some pepper Corys back there. There's a Schwartzy right there, the striped guys, and then the bronze Corys. The male is right there on the side. But I will most likely get babies from the bronze Corys. But yeah, that's where I got these little cuties from, as well as the ones in that breeder net over there. But yeah, we'll give them some food and then we'll wait. So I've just captured, oh, he jumped, come back here. So I've just captured a little beetle here, He's under a rock. But I thought, what better way to show you a cool little toy that I picked up than to use him as an example. So what I've got here is a macro lens. This particular brand is Alloclip, but I've got it on my iPhone, and the iPhone on its own takes amazing pictures, but with this macro lens, it really kicks up the detail. So when you're taking macro photography, you want a lot of light. So as I move him closer, you gotta get quite close to focus, but you can see the amount of detail that you get. I'm using 21 times magnification lens on the phone, and that doesn't even account for the amount of zoom that the phone has. So here are two of a very common type of reptile here. These are anoles. So that one just dipped behind there, but there's a green one up here. The other one's brown. They are able to change color. They're real fun. When I first moved to Texas, I caught tons of these guys. Alright guys, so I got the green anole here, and you can see it's trying to bite. That's what it looks like. I mean, it doesn't hurt at all, but it scares you a little bit. And there's this little gobble wobble, whatever you call it. They do it when they're doing their mating dances and when they're aggravated. So don't want to stress them out too much, so I'll put them back. They just got real tiny little teeth, enough to rip skin, just barely. Yes. Yeah. You won't want to use this guy for a naturalist earring because he'd never let go. But yeah, that's the anole, and I'm gonna go ahead and put him back. Alright guys, so here we've come across this little snake. I've caught these guys before, they're not venomous. So I'm going to move this board and pull him out. So we got Owen on the camera, and we're taking some macro shots with the iPhone right now. It's amazing detail of these tiny animals. It's just real hard because my hands are so shaky. He'll burrow back under the grass and head home. Woo! But yeah, cool little find. And now, my hands stink. Alright you guys, so just got back from school. It's been about 2 days since we did that water change. And if you look there, that is a whole bunch of Cory catfish eggs. So our experiment was a success. I'm guessing they came from the bronze Corys again because they seem to be the only ones that ever lay eggs. But yeah, we're going to get that removed from the glass because the catfish will eat the eggs, and then we will put it in a tumbler to prevent it from growing fungus. Alright you guys, now I have a sore neck and a head rush from all the blood going to my head from being in that position for such an extended period of time, but I have all of my Cory catfish eggs. This is a pretty large brood of eggs, and I'm going to now get them their little home for the next 3 days as they turn into fish fry. And I'm gonna hook up this bubbler here, just plug it in, it'll start pumping out air through this tube, and it'll keep them circulating, and we will track their progress as they grow. Alright guys, so I was watching this spider here weave its web, and I accidentally bumped the piece of grass that I was standing on and scared it. But it's amazing when you do that, the way that it hides, it just gets right up against this piece of grass and pretty much camouflages with it, just like that. See, you can't even tell there's a spider there now. That's crazy. But I'll leave him to do his web building. Alright you guys, so I want to try something that's been spiking my interest lately, and that is a terrarium. And I would prefer to film this outside, but unfortunately, it's dark out. Thanks a lot, school. But when I got home, I went outside right away and picked up a bunch of little stuff that I'll show you right now. So here is a bag of assorted plants. Now, if you don't know what a terrarium is, it's basically an enclosed little ecosphere type thing where you can keep plants or animals or insects or whatever, and it'll kind of sustain itself. At least the kind that I am going to be making will sustain itself, hopefully. All you need to add is sunlight. But so I've got my plants here. I went out as soon as I got home from school, as I said, picked up some different mosses, some lichens, some little clovers, assorted plants that I found that are cool, some snail shells, different things to decorate the terrarium with. Here's the hat of an acorn, at least that's what I call it. I don't know what it's actually called. The cool thing about these things is you can make them special to the area that you live. As well as plants, I picked up some gravel here. That is going to be the false bottom, or in nature, that is kind of the leachate zone where the water that runs down through the ground will seep into, and that just kind of controls the water cycle. And then you can't make a terrarium without your soil. This is just Texas soil, a whole lot of clay, pretty much. But yeah, let's get to it. So what better time than the holidays to take advantage of a special type of terrarium, which is going to be inside of these. Now obviously there are sprinkles inside of there, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with those. That may have been too many sprinkles. I tried to spit out the glob into the toilet and the backsplash got on my face, so now I have toilet water on my face. But now that I have a sugar high toilet water in my face and an empty Christmas ornament, we're gonna go ahead and find a cork that'll fit on top and drill a hole through the top. And that will allow me to run the ribbon through and also keep it airtight and in turn watertight. But if you guys don't want a sugar rush and possibly toilet water on your face, you can pick these up from the craft store rather than buying them with sprinkles. It's just the store I went to had them with sprinkles, so I decided I might as well get them with sprinkles, because I don't have sprinkles and a stomachache. But let's go ahead and pop the rocks into the bottom. Now you can use a funnel if you feel like it, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the instructions from my tripod just because I don't feel like making a funnel dirty. So we now have this awkward looking funnel, and we're gonna go ahead and throw the rocks in through the top. Now, as I said earlier, these pebbles are what's called a false bottom, and they're gonna act as the E-horizon, which is found in nature. It's also known as the alluviated layer, and that just takes the leachate, the water that goes through topsoil, and collects it, and then it'll go into an aquifer. But in this case, it will then be sucked up by the plant roots and then transpired back into the little atmosphere that we've got going on here. So next we've got our topsoil here, and this is going to be the A-horizon. And where I live in Texas, the soil is very clay-like. So that means it's not very permeable, and you don't really want to pack it down because that will make it even less permeable. And if you don't know what the word permeable means, it just means that water can go through it, and plants need permeable soil, but not too permeable. You want that equal mixture of permeability. But let's go ahead and pop this guy back on, and you're gonna want to do more soil than you do gravel, because that's what the plants are gonna live in. Now let's try and not make a mess. It's recommended, I guess, that you do this outside if you're afraid of a mess. I ain't afraid of no mess. But now that we have ourselves a mess, it is time to move on to the next step. Now on to the fun part, which is the plants. I got quite a few more plants than I actually needed, but I'll either have to make another one, which involves eating a lot more sprinkles, which I'm not feeling really up to right now, or I'll replant these guys. Let's pull out some of the plants and get them in there. Now I really like mosses, which aren't very easy to come by in Texas, because we are a dry area, but there they are. Fun little hobbit houses. So far I am pretty pleased with the final product. I'll get some glamour shots in a second, but we're gonna go ahead and spray a little bit of water in there and plug it on up, and hopefully I didn't overwater it or underwater it, and hopefully the plants will survive. I'm sure some sort of nature will take its course and kill off any plants that aren't well adapted to this little atmosphere, and then others will thrive. But yeah, I'm taking off to South Dakota tomorrow, so I'm going to hang this guy up on the tree in an area that it can get some sunlight, and hopefully when I return, they're not all dead. But yeah, give it a go if you guys want to, because it's an amazing little atmosphere. I'm sure there's probably some sort of little bugs or something in there, but I didn't put any in intentionally. I would like to go ahead and try something more towards an actual terrarium and even some ecospheres once I get back. But yeah, let's get this guy plugged up and hung up on the tree. So it is the next morning, and I see that my terrarium is a little bit fogged up. That means I overwatered it just a tad, but I'm going to remove the excess water vapors and hang it up in a sunny window so that it can photosynthesize while I am gone, because I am getting ready to head to the airport in just a second actually, and we're going to be heading up to South Dakota for Christmas. We'll be enjoying a white Christmas as opposed to a rainy one. Pretty nasty outside. But yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this new little type of vlogging style, and I hope to make more in the future with many more adventures. But thanks for watching, you guys, and ta-ta!